going on, guys? Not a film review today. I'm actually going to have to curb my spending for next month and a half to save for Cinema Wasteland. So, not going to be as many film reviews, but I'm going to do things like this, which you already know probably from the title here. These are my top 10 exploitation films that I own. Not saying that these are the top exploitation films of all time. Just in my opinion of the films that I own, these are the top 10 favorite that I have. And that probably, this list could probably change all the time. It just depends on what mood I'm in. So today, this is my top 10. And exploitation is kind of a broad term. I mean, all it is a film that exploits something for the purpose of selling tickets. So usually it's exploiting sex or violence. Those are the top two things that most of these films exploit. So really, in all terms, if you think about it, any horror film that is heavy on violence and blood and gore, which a lot are, I guess could be considered an exploitation film. Not necessarily a horror film like The Exorcist, but yeah. So you may not agree with my classification of these as exploitation, but hey, it's just my opinion. So starting off, number 10. I'm a big blaxploitation fan, so I had to put in one at least, and this is certainly my favorite blaxploitation film. That would be Foxy Brown. How can you beat Foxy Brown? Pam Grier, Sid Haig, Jack Hill directed it. Fantastic. It's a real shame that these Foxy Brown, Coffee, many of the others that she's in, especially Foxy Brown and Coffee, have not really gotten, in my opinion, a very good release. I mean, all you have on here is a commentary and a trailer. But you gotta take what you can get. So, Foxy Brown, number 10. Number 9, I've reviewed this before. Honestly, one of my favorite films, period, is Tenement, aka Game of Survival, aka Slaughter in the South Bronx. Completely over the top, completely ridiculous, completely wonderful. Love it so much. Yeah. I wish this would come out in a better edition, but we're talking about Street Show, so that's number 9. Number 8. Might not consider this an exploitation film, since it is sort of, I don't know, it's really well done, and but that doesn't mean it's not an exploitation film. There's plenty of things in here that are quite exploitive, but I love it. It is Class of 1984. If you guys haven't seen this, man, let me tell you what, I love these sort of teen gang movies. These are some of my favorite movies. This is a pretty good release too from Anchor Bay. Pretty sure it's out of print, but it comes with the slip cover and even comes with a little booklet. This is also, I don't know if it's his first, but Michael J. Fox is in this, and he looks like he's 12 years old. So I don't know if this was his first film, or it's definitely one of his first. So that's always interesting to see. He really looks like he's like 12 years old in this. Great movie. Alright, now we go more of an offensive direction with Elsa, She-Wolf of the SS. Another one that's just so over the top and ridiculous that you can't help but love it. I don't know. I don't really know what to say about Elsa. It's just awesome. Now, this is out of the box set, which I have. This has got pretty good commentary on it with Diane Thorne and Don Edmonds and Dave Friedman, who recently passed, which is a big shame. Dave was like, the king of exploitation, if you want to say. Let's see what I'm on here. 6. Alright, number 6. Another one of my favorite films, period. From the master Ruggero Deodato, House on the Edge of the Park. Again, another one. How can you not just, I mean, it's, directed by Ruggero. You've got Giovanni Lombardo Radici, probably saying it wrong, aka John Morgan, and David Hess, and what is her name? French girl. I'm gonna have to look at it. Let's see. No, it doesn't say her name. What is her name? Oh well, I forgot it. But she was in she's in a couple Women in Prison movies, which they are going to be making House on the Edge of the Park 2. If you're on Facebook, you can look up House on the Edge of the Park 2, and they have a group for it that, you can get some info on it. From what I understand, the script's already written, and the producer has been reading it and making some script changes, and then they're going to go from there. And I actually sent Giovanni a message, and he's really, really, really personable and nice, and will talk to you. If you talk to him on Facebook, he will write you back, and no problems. And it was actually an idea that I had. Don't ask me why. I decided to get the gumption to go, hey, I have this idea for the movie, about a certain person that should be in it, and how he could be in it. And lo and behold, I guessed exactly what was going to happen. So he was actually very pleased that I guessed, because he said that to him that meant that they were going in the right direction for fans. So, and he wrote the script, so that's another plus. Anyway, number 5. I Spit on Your Grave. Still, to this day, it still has that sort of effect it had. Not quite the effect it had on me when I was a kid, but certainly still has an effect every time I watch it. I watch it at least once every year, if not more. This is the Elite Edition. This was probably the best edition forever. Actually, it still kind of is. The other releases that I have here, which are this one, which is a UK version. I mean, it's actually cut, which I don't really like, but if I'm going to watch it, I'm not going to watch this version. But this one does have a audio interview with director Mir, and it's not on any of the other releases. Plus, this one comes with this booklet, which is pretty thick. It even goes into the new remake, which I thought was okay. And it comes with this poster. So there's that. And then I also have it. I totally folded that wrong. I also have it on Blu-ray, because you can't have enough copies of I Spit on Your Grave. So, and there's actually a new feature with Mir on here. So We're on here. I'm rhyming now. Right. Yeah. There's that. I'll have to fold that up later because I'm just going to get it wrong. Okay. Number 4. Yeah. 4. I absolutely love this movie. Some people may find it offensive, but, well, hey. I think we all need to be offended now and then, which is A Fight for Your Life. One of the better sort of Last House on the Left, not rip-off, but spin-off? Not really. I don't know. If you haven't seen this, you must watch it as soon as possible. It is very offensive. There are a lot of racial slurs thrown about by William Sanderson, who you may recognize from Blade Runner and a bunch of other stuff. He's also in True Blood there for a couple seasons. But it's so... all that stuff is so sort of over the top. The racial tension in the movie is so over the top, it's kind of hard to believe when you watch it for the first time that this movie was ever made. And the funny thing about this is when you listen to the commentary, Bill Lustig pops in. He's not actually even listed on the back as being in the commentary, but I guess when they were recording it, he popped in for a second right at the beginning to just see how things were going, and he loves the movie so much that he couldn't help himself, and he just ends up in the commentary. And he's not even listed as supposed to being in it, but he is. And he talks about when he saw Fight for Your Life on 42nd Street, and how he thinks he took a girlfriend, and how it was mostly a black audience, and they absolutely loved it. He said they were just all about it. By the end, they were just up on their feet, clapping and going crazy for it. So, if you haven't seen Fight for Your Life, trust me, you got to see it. As long as you're not easily offended by that sort of stuff, and you got to know that. I mean, it's in the end, it all turns out well. So, it's number 3. This is way out of print, and I'm really happy that I still have it. It is Last House on Dead End Street. Really grimy. I'm sure most of you have seen it in one form or another. Really down and dirty, low budget, great stuff. And this DVD is fantastic. Got so much stuff on here. Interesting story about this. Now, Roger Watkins, the director, was at a Cinema Wasteland, but I think it was like the first or second one, and I didn't go. I went to like the third one on, or third or fourth one on, I don't know. And he was at the first or the second one, maybe the third one, I don't know. And at that time I wasn't going. But a friend of mine used to work for Ultraviolet magazine, and he was going up to Pittsburgh. Roger was recording a sort of a spoken word, sort of life story type thing for a CD they were going to call Hobo Flats. And I guess Ultraviolet was involved. Unfortunately, Roger passed, and it never got finished. But my friend was going up to Pittsburgh to sit in on one of the recordings, and he was going to have a booklet signed. Unfortunately, he never went. He actually wasn't able to make it that weekend. But so this would have been signed, but it ended up not going. So, but this is a cool booklet. Comes with it. Pretty thick. Cool stuff. Great DVD. One of my favorites that I actually own. It's so rare. Alright, number 2. Classic. Can't go wrong. Wes Craven's Last House on the Left. I don't think I have to say much more about that. Although I do, this is another one that you can't have enough copies, so I have the the Anchor Bay UK release, which is probably the best edition out. It comes with all the documentaries that are on the Blu-ray, which this cover is a fucking travesty. It's terrible. I hate it. Awful. But it also comes with the rare alternate cut called Krug & Company. It's a 2-disc. And it also comes with this nice booklet. Classic ag campaign there. Oh, I can't show that page. Anyway, I'll show that page. I couldn't show the other page because it had some nudity on it. But it also has a alternate cover. Actually, it's not really an alternate cover, but because the back here isn't quite the cover, but for that. And I just showed you the Blu-ray, which honestly doesn't look all that great. Both it has this terrible cover. It has most of the stuff off the Anchor Bay release and the US release. But I'm a huge fan, so I have to get as many editions of it as I can, which I want that 3-disc limited. Alright, on to number 1. Now, some of you may not consider this an exploitation film. Some may consider it a horror film, which it sort of is. I consider it kind of both. But in my opinion, it's more of an exploitation film than it is a horror film. And if you can't tell by the poster behind me, it's Cannibal Holocaust. Number 1, mainly because every time I watch it, there's still something in it that makes me sort of want to turn my head. And not many films hold that power. Not many films hold the power to, after you've seen it 30 times, to still sort of shock you. Of course, it's not going to shock you the way it did the first time you saw it, but there still are scenes in the movie that I've seen them a million times, and they still make me sort of cringe. And this one is the 2-disc limited that first came out. I guess I should have shown this in the limited and numbered, but hey, whatever. It's out of 11,111, and I have 2,229. And this is that sort of hard box type deal. Yep. Comes with a poster. It's in there, but I'm not going to pull it out. But anyway, so there it is. Top 10 exploitation films that I own. And ending with number 1, Cannibal Holocaust. And I met Dave Dotto last April at Cinema Wasteland, and if you don't know, it was just probably one of the best days ever. And as you will see in the picture that I'm about to show you right about